Okay, so how much do you guys know about the most important timeline in Gundam?
You mean the only timeline in Gundam?
Pretty much. The 1 year war. That's basically 100
Okay.
wars strapped into one. Yeah.
Okay. And so Daima.
Yeah. What?
eh,
Huh?
Oh, sorry, not Daima. Excuse me. Requiem for Vengeance. I keep getting the two mixed up because
Yeah.
yeah. Requiem for Vengeance. Excuse me.
So Requiem for Vengeance takes place during the infamous 1 year war of Gundam, which started basically in January all the way to January 0079 all the way to January 0080, which is funny because isn't 79 the year that Gundam came out? Ha ha ha.
Wow.
Yeah, so let's ignore all of stuff that happened during that war. And let's go straight into, I believe it was November. I think it's November. Yeah.
Okay.
So it takes place in Romania during November of the 1 year war. And lo and behold, what's the most popular side what side story do we tell during the 1 year war nowadays? What has the most popular side stories? Right, Xeon side. Have you noticed there's
I
a
thought
been
you
a
meant Char having gay sex.
no? That's he does extremely wicked things in, was it 96,
Extremely wicked
92?
thing.
Hell yeah, that line's so good. But yeah, so this story is basically another Gundam side story that happens during the 1 year war, which may or may not be canon, but it usually is canon. But there's so many conflicts during the 1 year war, so it's like there's skirmishes all over the world. So this one takes place in, is it Romania? I think it's Romania. I Yeah, Romania during the 1 year war, and we follow the escapades of the Red Wolf Squadron and its leader, Iria Solari. Yeah,
Okay.
and when so the Zeons are minding their own business, doing war things, accompanied by the Red Wolf Squadron, when suddenly the White Devil shows up, and it's not the White Devil, but it's a White Devil because during this time, I don't remember the timeline exactly. When was the first? When did the RX 78 launch?
Fuck if I
Like
know, man.
it was during the 1 year, but what? Like, did they give a specific date? Because I don't remember off the top of my head.
I mean, probably, but I'm not
I
fucking.
want to say
I'm not the Gundam guy, so.
because there's a lot that happened in the 1 year war, especially with all the stuff. Uh, okay, yeah. I'm looking at this. I'm looking this up. Okay, yeah. So November 7th. This is when the series starts, and if you know Gundam, you'll know what November 7 specifies because they mention it like the last three episodes. But yeah, so they get attacked by a mysterious white devil, which, if you don't know, is not the Gundam because around this time there were what 12 Gundams uh that were the terrorizing the Earth and Xeon forces, and it's not the RX-78 too, but this one's the RX-78 GE Gundam EX. RX-78G stands for ground and whatnot. So it's a specific new version of new ground type version of the Gundam. It's all white. You can look at the art, and it vaguely shares its head shape is vaguely reminiscent of a skeleton, and the RX 79 EZ8 because it's obviously a takes place on the Earth, so it's a ground type capability and all that. And it starts terrorizing the Xeon forces, and it annihilates most of her squadron. And I will say though that compared to the original series, where you know after some time the Gundam stops being that scary against the Xeon forces, this one completely terrorizes and shows how the technological like prowess that the Federation had to, compared to Xeon's at Zaku 2 when they rolled out the Gundam because this one's impervious to all their weaponry, even bazookas at this time. If you remember in the original, even the Gundam could be hurt by bazookas. That was like what they changed to fight it. But this one, no, bazookas don't hurt it them all that much. Or it doesn't. It only like stuns it, but it doesn't do any lasting damage. And compared to the original Gundam, this one's specified for ground combat. So instead of running around, this one hops around a lot. It's got specific like jump boosters, and it's really fast. So it jump slashes and all that, and jump kicks. So it's hopping around,
So
and it's way
so
too
is
fast.
the I have a question though. Is the story inside this is not important, right? The Gundam
Uh,
models are the important part? Or
well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's
yeah.
inconsequential because
Okay.
all the characters here are like basic mooks. They're not memorable at all.
Oh, okay, okay,
Well,
okay.
I mean, they're not memorable in the grand scheme of the 1 Year War.
Yeah, the overall like universe. Yeah, this kind of like if it's like for instance Star Wars, it's like a stormtrooper kind of side story kind of business. Yeah.
I think I'm there. No, never mind. I don't. That's a different. It's a different crew.
By the way,
Uh,
so this is just via this is just like a set of ONAs from Netflix or online streaming, I guess. But this also said that this was animated using Unreal Engine 5. Is that a thing? Is that
have you
real?
seen MS Igloo? If if you guys
I
know
I've I've googled it just now. But
MS Igloo, I would say this is like a step up from
yeah, I
MS
mean,
Igloo. It kind of looks like in the way. It gives me that
mhm,
feel. It doesn't give me. People would say, "Oh, this is like 8th MS team." No, I'd say it's more like MS Igloo. But yeah.
uh-huh. But like the
Um,
human models aside, are the
human models. Yeah, if you're gonna say human models aside,
yeah,
the
are
Gundam
the
models
Gundam
are
models?
really,
Yeah.
really good looking,
Okay.
very
Okay.
detailed and all that, and which is the most important part. I like the modern take on the Zaku's, the Zaku
Hmm.
tank,
Yeah.
the I will say I prefer the Zaku or the Xeon side of their
Yeah,
machinery
because it's like
when it looks like it.
it's like people are a lot of people online are kind of complaining about it's like the human models and like the texture animation stuff like that. But it's like I'm not sure how much of that is the point in a Gundam series. You know what I mean? It's like it's about since it's about the Gundams, so it's kind of like
The
as
Zaku's
long as
look
the
true to
Gundams look great.
form, but I
Yeah.
will say the gym looks kind of too rounded for my taste.
Hmm.
Kind of weird. And the Gundam itself, well, take it or leave it. It it
Okay.
looked weird. It looked weird to me in the beginning, but I understood why. It's supposed to look skeletal and
Mhm,
scary,
mhm.
and it makes sense. It's not one of my favorite designs, though. I will say, on a technological standpoint, I do like how they they took um design elements from Gundam Origin and added to this one. If you remember, because the Gundam Origin added a shoulder cannon to the original RX-78 too, which the original did not have. And I always thought that was like, of course, the Gundam lacked a mid-range weapon that it should have had because all it came with was a beam rifle and sabers, sometimes bazookas. Yeah, so the but this one, the Gundam EX, it comes with a medium range Gatling gun, which it uses to great effect. And I always thought, yeah, that's what it should have. It never uses Vulcans though. I don't. Does it have Vulcans? I don't think so. So sure.
So is this
So
a
the
so
basics,
is
I haven't gotten into it, but the basic story is uh halfway. There's only 6 episodes of this, so three like the so 3 episodes is their the Gundam shows up at their base and completely
yeah,
decimates them, and now they're running away. They're
okay,
retreating from the Gundam, and the Gundam is chasing them, like
okay.
chases them to whatever base they go to, and then the was it four episode four? I want to say 4 and 5 is they're like we have to fight back against the Gundam, and so they go to the Gundam's base to try to
Okay.
steal try to steal a gem because if you know the 1 Year War stuff, the the gem is the Federation's first mass-produced version of the Gundam, and in this
Mhm,
series, it's the gem is pretty competent as well because it's also technically it's also made of Luna titanium, the same material that the Gundam is, so it's also very durable. And they're like, damn, this new mass-produced mobile suit is also very good. We need to steal it, and in order to improve our own technology. And then after that, like the last arc, I would say is Operation Odessa, which in terms of the 1 Year War, it's when the Federation starts its first counterattack, like first actual they're turning the tides of the war thanks to the Gundam and the gems, and
mhm.
then Zeon retreats to space. So now the last arc of the series is them still retreating from the Gundam and going and out doing Operation Odessa is when the Zeons retreat to space, and they're retreating from the Gundam into space, and that's when the series
Mm.
ends. I
Oh,
will say though, I despite the
yeah.
Gundam being this super terrorizing unit, it barely gets scratched throughout the entire series, and the Red Wolf Squadron gets wrecked every time because of the superior durability and how powerful its weapons are. They did a good job of showing how powerful the beam weapons are because whenever the Gundam fires the beam rifle, it leaves a long like trail of destruction in its wake. It scorches the earth and it punches through. I think it punched through a mountain. And I was like, damn. And then the beam saber cuts through all their armor like butter.
Mm.
So yeah, I will say
Have
though, I don't like how the conclusion of the battle, like what happens to the Gundam at the end of the series. I didn't like it at
mm.
all. It was lame. But that's what this
I
series
think
is.
it's the story is probably not.
The
It
story
seems like a
is
very yeah. It's
pretty
so
lame.
how do you I guess again I don't want to dump too much on the story because I feel like it just gets into repetitive territory because I feel like this is not a the story itself is not a very it's kind of like a throwaway in a sense, right? Um,
I'm
yeah,
trying to remember what the story is, other than well,
yeah, no,
we're running away from
I
the
think that's close
Gundam. It's
enough.
November 7, Operation Odessa, like
Yeah.
final stages of the attack on Earth, and then but like the
I
only story other than that is I guess how they're trying to humanize Xeon once more. Uh,
I'm
because
curious about can I ask you a quick question about the just because it appeared in my head when you talked about story as well. Um, I heard the Japanese dub was okay, but then the English dub was a little very iffy in this one.
Yeah, I
Did you hear both
respect.
of them?
It's as usual. It's on Netflix. I watched it in Japanese, and the subtitles never match what they say in Japanese.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because
It's
Okay.
they
Netflix.
go
I've
off
given up a
the
long time ago.
Yeah, they
dub
just copy
script.
off the English. Yeah, exactly. Which is very unfortunate. Um,
But yeah,
okay.
I guess I should talk about the characters since that's the only thing. So there's Iria Solari. Uh she's the main character of the series. She's the leader of the Red Wolf Squadron, and she used to be a violinist. And lo and behold, what do you think our Xeon and protagonist is? Like, why do you think she's such a skilled pilot? Because she might be a new type. Get it?
Wow.
You always have to have a new type
Surprise.
pilot. But yeah, she
Mhm.
pilots a cool Zaku 2F. Uh, and her thing is, she's a violinist who got drafted for the war, and all she wants to do is, all she wants to do is return home to her son, and survive. And basically, the whole thing is about them surviving the Gundam and trying to get into space.
Mhm.
And most of her squad gets wiped out, so it's just mainly her and the ragtag group of Xeon survivors that from her base that she travels with. I mean, I don't have really problems with her characterization personally. And she's she always fights the Gundam whenever it gets close. Uh, her first Zaku 2 gets wrecked easily, so they have to build a new Zaku for her out of junk parts. That was cool. I like that whole nod towards, oh, remember when the EZ8 got wrecked in or the RX-79 ground type Gundam got wrecked in HMS team, and they had to rebuild it from junk parts. So here's a junk Zaku that goes against the Gundam, and it does better because now that they fought it, they can modify this junk Zaku to do better against the Gundam, and it does fairly better than her last one. So um yeah, and then
I
there was some chick with pink hair and tattoos. She's a ranger.
it's
Uh, there's a medic guy who's I believe is a a wartime medic. So he's red. I guess he's Red Cross. So he's going around. He's trying to save everyone on the battlefield, even the Federation soldiers, and they don't kill. And so he gets, what is it? Battlefield immunity, whatever.
mm.
No, they don't shoot him on sight because he's not exactly Xeon, but he's the battlefield medic on both sides. Uh,
I just have a general question. It's like, and I think this also kind of covers like the characters in the story and stuff like that. It's like, who is this Gundam series made for? Like, why was this Gundam series? I mean, obviously, because Gundam
for
needs to
the
make more
Unreal
money.
5 engine, of course, my dude.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Do you think? So it's like first, obviously, if you can answer, um, who is this made for? And two, going on the Unreal 5 engine thing, Unreal Engine 5 thing, do you think more series, do you think Bamco is going to push for more series to be made in this sort of form? Or I guess,
Are
um,
you asking me if they want to sell more fun Gundam 1 Year War stuff just to sell models?
or no, specifically via stuff like doing this Unreal Engine kind of stuff. Do you think they'll push for more of this kind
No,
of
I
stuff?
don't. I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, okay. Obviously, they're going to
As
do
as
more
long
Gundam.
as
There's never
as
enough
long as
Gundam, but
someone
it's
says,
like,
hey, you want a cool new Gundam? I'll do it in this thing, and it's like, okay, sure.
yeah, I'll make claymation Gundam, and they'll be like, yeah, 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 sure, try it.
You know that we've been introduced to 6 more Gundam prototypes recently in the past couple of years with, what is it, a Red
God.
Giant team, with 6 more Gundam ground types because remember, there weren't just mass-produced Gundams. If you know any, the Gundam ground types were made from the what is it? The spare parts of Gundams that did not meet their specific specifications, so you can make an infinite number of offshoot Gundams, ground Gundams. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, sure, whatever. I'll just say it's probably there just to sell new Gundam stuff. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know
it's a
what?
little bit unfortunate because very it's a little bit obnoxious in a way because it's obviously not for anybody except for the people who are just like interested enough for to see check out the models to buy them later. But in terms of an anime, it seems very, very, very iffy
I mean,
overall.
the Gundam itself is okay. The Gundam
Yeah.
EX, it's okay as a model. I don't like the gym; it's too random for me. But you know,
Hmm.
the Zaku's are cool. They have a bunch of
Yeah.
cool Zaku's in there, and then even the goof that shows up, that's a cool looking goof. Um,
A shame
I
because I think the
almost
concept of like a Gundam being, like the monster movie monster is cool.
yeah, it is, and that I
Mm.
mean, yeah, and it shows it's basically impervious to everything the it was basically impervious to everything they had, even at the end, before the end, and I was like, that's why I said even the way it got taken out at the end was lame. I'm not gonna spoil
Mm.
it. It's lame.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
this series is you can tell this series was a. I mentioned MS Igloo, but that's the animation style. But you can tell this was based very highly off of, I want to say, Thunderbolt and Await MS Team,
Mhm.
both in the way that there's a Xeon or Thunderbolt where they're showing off the Xeon side, and then Await MS Team because it was on the ground and an obvious design of the EX and how it looks. But going back to the characters, it's just a bunch of ragtag Xeons. I will say though, shout out to my favorite character in the series, which is a random dude, a random Xeon
Mm.
soldier they picked up that survives until the end. He's not even named or anything. He's just like this, or he doesn't have it. Not he's not named. Well, he has a name, but he's out of everyone else, he's just the simplest generic looking Xeon soldier that they found, and like that guy's cool. Everyone else has a unique design, but no, he's Xeon Grunt,
Mm.
but he makes it, and I'm like, you go, random Xeon Grunt, you made it. What else?
Yeah. I mean, for the
Overall,
most part, yeah. Overall, it kind of seems to be kind of whatever, except for the Gundam models themselves.
yeah, it is what it is. It's an inconsequential story
Mm.
in the face of thing in the face of the 1 Year War. It's not as impactful as the other series. I want to say like what's the one with the midnight? It's no Zeonic Front. That's what I'm saying. No Zeonic Front, no Blue Destiny. That whole the whole series of games that have a bunch of I want to say like even like the PS2 and the other games that had a focus on the ground or the grunt units during the 1 Year War. These were definitely better than this. They had
Mm.
more compelling stories. Uh, I
Yeah.
I even want to say Code Fairy, even though how super whimsical and anime that is. Do you guys know about Code Fairy?
No, I've
It
heard of it, but I don't know what it is
the
actually.
one where it follows the all girl group of noisy fairy, and then I'm like, oh, here we go, the all girl group noisy fairy that fights against
Like,
the evil Federation. I like their suit. I like the suits better on that because yeah.
Mm.
It was also had a tie-in to GBO two, and that's the only reason I bought the game to get the GB get the GBO two suits from there.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll say noise. I'll say Code Fairy is better.
Okay.
Overall, I'm going to give it. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's not the worst thing I've seen. The story's ass. Like, I don't like the ending of the story though.
Oh my god. Okay.
The ending's
Uh,
pretty ass, and that's why I say it's inconsequential.
yeah.
Because
I guess. I
um,
guess just closing up. What Mal rating would you give it?
that is my Mal rating, my 7. I, I'm
7. Okay.
I'm going to give it no points, no bonus points, because I fought the suit in a GBO2, and the suit, well, the suit's annoying because of it's got multiple stunning weapons at the 400 cost range, which is the same cost as the original Gundam. It's much better
Hmm.
than that, and it's hard to
Yeah.
stun because it has a special ability where it can keep jumping and boosting, and it's harder to stun when it's in the air.
Hmm.
I will say that it's not that hard to beat. So
Okay.
no bonus points because it's a pretty fair suit to fight at that cost.
Right. Right. Right.
But
Okay.
for 6 episodes, it's fine. It's a fine watch.
Hmm.
No reason not to watch it if you're a Gundam fan. Even though I think the story's ass, but it's definitely not one of their stronger Xeon focused storylines during the 1 Year War.
Right. 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 Okay. Okay. Pretty good. A little bit of, obviously for you, you might have enjoyed a couple of models, but it's a little bit unfortunate that it didn't come out as a complete package,
I
or
would
really any sort of
one more
package.
thing. One more thing. I looked it up.
Hmm.
They lied to me. They
What?
mentioned they mentioned the Midnighters, the series, which is, and I was like, is that the Midnight Fenrir Corps? And I looked at the Midnight Fenrir Corps from a Zeonic Front. I looked up, and it's not. Just some. It's like, God damn it! How dare you name yourself close to the Midnight Fenrir Corps? Those guys are cool.
Okay.
They fought a Mudrock, which was an actual Gundam.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much, Toast. Again, unfortunate that this didn't turn out as well as one might have hoped, but I think the setup didn't really allow for much to happen
Oh,
for it. But
oh, there's a lot. Not just there's was it 08th MS team was in Asia.
hmm,
Uh, Zeonic Front was in North America. This one's in Romania. You've got every country in the world left on Earth to uh, to make another 1 Year War storyline in, except Australia, I think. Australia was the one that got nuked, right? Right near
I
nuked
think.
by the when they dropped the colony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Australia is what gets the colony dropped on.
So what's next? I would like. Well, let's throw it out there. I would like a series based in Antarctica. Why not? Or maybe
uh,
Russia.
yeah. Anyways, I do want to move on, but thank you very much, Toast, for helping to cover this interesting Gundam spinoff. It is Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, produced by Bandai Namco Filmworks and Safe House. I believe Bandai Namco Filmworks is currently the current name of former Sunrise Studios, right before they were acquired properly by Bandai Namco. And this is actually done completely in CG, using help animated via Unreal Engine 5. It kind of is what it is. Obviously, again, the models are there, but everything else is a little bit shaky. So, watch at your own risk. But yeah.